started and I named it Meltdown Monday. So if you're
Meltdown
watching
Monday.
this and you've had any meltdowns in COVID, I like when it first started, I was having them quite regularly, and then I kind of moved out of them. And then today one hit me again this morning. And I just want to encourage all of you that just remember nobody on this planet has ever experienced this before. And, there are times that just like raising kids, and I said this in the boot camp, there are times you put your child on your lap and you kiss them and cuddle them and hug them and say it's okay and you should cry and all of that. And there are other times as a parent, you're like, whether it hurts or not, you're going to get your butt in there and you're going to get work done. And I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if that's done. Like the work has to be done. And I think that's one thing that's been really difficult, at least wise from a position of leadership or even my own emotions, is like, when do you go and when do you come back? Like, I feel like there used to be a set way of knowing what do you push through or what do you like kind of push others through, just like in practice, right? Like, when does somebody need that accountability and they just need you to be that coach of, I remember Linda Allen was like one of my best softball coaches. And I'm telling you, like that woman drove me hard, but what I was able to accomplish because of her driving me hard was amazing. And so I think that's something that, at least wise from my perspective, I haven't experienced before in life, is right now, which one to apply seems to be kind of a little bit of a guess. Are you feeling that at all in practice?
More so for sure at the beginning of this whole thing. So I know you deal with any practice management or coaching, everybody's got their scripts for when a patient calls in and says they're not coming in and well, what about, and which is the nudge and the driving a bit hard. I didn't do that for the first couple of weeks. For me, the internal feeling was it wasn't right to do that because everything was so unsettled. And now, especially state of South Carolina, we're just about back to normal. We can go into restaurants now. They're still not open maybe as late as they normally are. They are 50% capacity. So we're not back there, but we're well on our way to where I feel like our state has taken a collective exhale and knows now they're getting back to business. And so for that, I mean, I'm noticing that I feel more comfortable just ramping up the nudge because virus or no virus, our patients need a nudge because it is important that they are getting checked for subluxations in any way. And so now that their anxiety is down, I feel better about doing it. But I hear your point, and it's been the most conflicted I've been. And do I call this person and say, hey, where you been? When they're scared and they have other things to do. But what I'm noticing is, boy, I got a lot of people calling me. They're rescheduling. And so, whereas in the beginning it was, hey, I'll call you when things calm down, get back to normal, whatever that was. But now when the people reschedule or call, they reschedule right away. And not even for like, let me come in another 2 weeks. It'll be like, I can't come today. Can I come tomorrow? Come tomorrow. And so we're keeping up way better that way.
Yeah. And, I think, and Ben and I were talking about this morning, several of our friends that have young kids, at first it was kind of chaos, right? Like now both parents are home and they're trying to figure out school or trying to figure out just like, all right, who's got diaper duty now? Because we're both home, all of that. And now like there's this new cadence. There's this new way that spouses have learned to kind of do a new dance in the home with work and with the kids. And now everyone's kind of gotten used to that, where I think like going back to work, at least wise, I feel that people are kind of like, hey, I actually like this. And I'm actually more productive because I can like power my brain down and then get done what I have to get done. And I don't feel like because I'm at work, I have to put in so many hours, I just get my work done, like more efficient. So I think it's going to be really neat to see what the other side of this is. And for those of you who are watching us, like, what are you experiencing? I posted
Mhm.
the other day, what are the blessings of COVID? And it was really fun to read everyone's responses, because in everything, even in trials, there's always a blessing. If we're willing to look for it, there's either a lesson that we can learn, or there's a blessing, or maybe I remember, as if it were yesterday, walking in, my office manager when I was in practice was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, which was really odd because she was a white female, 40 years old, which isn't really the case most commonly with that diagnosis. And I walked in, and she was supposed to have a private room, and she didn't. And she is just like blessing the woman next to her. I mean, here Rebecca is dying, and she's just
Mm.
ministering to and loving on, from separate beds, the woman next to her who never had family who came to see her. And it was just really a beautiful thing to see, and to see all that's happening. And like our friend Chelsea said, humans are adaptable, especially with chiropractic. Amen.
Yep.
Michelle said, same. People are loving the slower times, right? Hey, Kate,
Hmm.
it's good to see you. And I think families are just spending so much more time together. And it's actually, I think, been a blessing that restaurants were closed. I mean, I feel bad for those who own them, but my husband and I, before COVID, we're the 2 to 3 times a week eating out couple. And I think
Right.
we've eaten out maybe 3 or 4 times since COVID. Um, so for us,
We've actually kept it up in order to support folks, but and there's no right or wrong way to do it. So I definitely see your, but we're eating at home together. And so just
mm,
because Inca's Cheesesteaks makes it versus I make it, it doesn't matter. But the opportunity to be together. We are in the adaptation business, and we're in the connection business, and that's what chiropractors do. So you have the tagline: Are there degrees of subluxation? You're either subluxated or not. You're either connected at 100% or you're not. And what I am noticing, at least, is I just feel the energy where I'm at is at a higher plane because people are more connected. Some
mm,
people are still anxious, and I understand that. And that's okay. If you're anxious, don't go out, stay home, as far as that's concerned. But that's what I love about chiropractic. It's always been what brings us together. It's
mhm.
not been what masks the problem, if you will. And here's what we know: like the fabric masks don't really do anything. I mean, they're there. It's more of a peace of mind thing. Um, what I like that chiropractic does is it's keeping my people together, and I'm still hearing really nice stories. A woman comes in with 2 toddlers, and she's like, "Got to get my husband back in because he's just so much less cranky." And I said, "Well, and how's that around the house?" "Oh, it's so much better because the whole group is better connected." And that's so, yeah, to your point, it's been great. My life hadn't changed all that much. My son is 14 years old, so he's been social distancing for a couple of years now. And he just stays in his room as it is. And I didn't even know he was still living there until we got haircuts today. But and so that's okay. But it's been nice for me. I mean, I've honestly loved not driving up to Sherman College every day. The drive, I love Sherman College, but the drive's an hour each way. So that's 2 hours. I haven't been in a car, so I haven't even been able to take advantage of these great gas prices because I live 5 minutes from my office.
Right.
And so, but it's been nice. And to your point about getting things done, I'm able to and I'm lucky. My wife and I are very fortunate that I still have my chiropractic practice where I can do my work here, and she's working from home 2 days a week, so she can do it at home, and we're not in each other's way. And then my son's got his own tablet and computer, so he can do what he's doing. So, but I do know people legitimately, it's been a big struggle because there's one computer in the house.
Right.
And so we are super, super fortunate that I'm able to do this. And now I feel like, boy, I can get a crap ton of work done when students and faculty aren't coming by my office. And so so now what that tells me, I have to really carve out my office hours. I can't just do, hey, can you talk for 5 minutes? Because those 5 minutes just stop everything you're doing. And so now I need to let people know, yeah, you want to come talk to me during this hour, and or it's an email, and then close the door and let me do my work, because because I've gotten a crap ton. I mean, I've recorded and they're not been terribly long, but over 100 videos for school, for various other things. And it's like, wow, look at me when I'm not allowing myself to be distracted. And I am a big squirrel person. That is definitely me.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there. So yeah, and I think like Chelsea said, humans are adaptable, especially with chiropractic. I had said to Brian, I was going to share a story with you all. One of our really good friends recently had surgery, and they cannot get in front of the pain since the surgery. I have my guesses as to what's happened, but at any rate, and so the couple is just so frustrated because no one wants to give them an answer. Right. So when they go in, the next doctor just writes them a new prescription. Like, yeah. Here's a prescription. Yeah. Here's another prescription. I'm like, I'm so thankful that we're chiropractors. Yeah. Because in order to help somebody, we have to touch you. We have to have a conversation with you. We can't just write you off with a piece of paper and a prescription. Like, we have to engage with you by our very nature of what we do. And so I just want to encourage those who are watching that aren't under regular chiropractic care, please reach out to me and let me help get you connected to a chiropractor. It really, like, your relationship with that human being will change your life. Then you add on top of it removing subluxations, and it's a whole new world, like the Disney song, a whole new world. I mean, that really and truly is the chiropractic lifestyle. And I want to encourage all of you who are practicing to remember how essential you are, that your practice members who the levels of subluxation, they're either they're subluxated or they aren't. And I haven't found too many people, or maybe nobody, who hasn't experienced emotional stress from this. So please reach out to them and don't stop recruiting new individuals to your office. Like, we have the answers. We have the solution for humankind in our practices. So please stay consistent and stay connected to your community and to your practice members. And when you're wondering, like, do I reach out? Just the very nudge that I believe God gave you says, like, reach out. What's the worst thing that could happen? You text them or call them or use BombBomb or something to send them a video, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Dr. Michelle cares so much. She's calling me again. Like, said no one ever. Right? So degrees of subluxation, part of this came from the idea of, our pastor did a sermon on Sunday, and he said, this COVID thing hasn't just been an irritation. It's been a disruption. And it immediately made me think of subluxation. Like, is subluxation just an irritation, or is subluxation a complete disruption of innate potential? So I thought we can talk about it on our Facebook Live. So what do you think? Just an irritation or a disruption?
Well, that's a really good question. And I would argue it's a disruption, because the expression of that disruption may seem like an irritation, but I believe it's definitely a disruption, because there is a 100% that you and I are, and everybody is meant to live life at, given our choices. And when we have a subluxation, that is disrupted. It's not just irritated, because irritated sort of says it's still, how do I want to put it? It's still present, but it's rubbed a bit raw, right? And in this case, but it flat disrupts the mental impulse. And so what my job is, and my job is always, is I want to get rid of that subluxation before that disruption is expressed in a way that's massive. And we see that in our patients, a lot. And this is why when you do see the miracle cases in the office, quote unquote, it's not a miracle. It's what the body is meant to be doing the whole time. They just had no idea. And so my thought to that would be it's absolutely a disruption to the mental impulse. The expression can seem a mild irritant or a moderate irritant at that point. But I would definitely call it a disruption, which means, because well, if it's irritating, if I just let it go enough, it'll be good. If I just don't scratch the poison ivy, it'll go away and I'll be fine. And that's not the case with a subluxation. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. And that irritant is going to definitely be expressed the more of the disruption that it is. And so if I have the opportunity now, especially in the world, dealing with what people are coming across of thoughts, traumas, toxins wise, I feel more and more empowered to disrupt the disruption and get to work. And so I see, we want to honor the hospital workers. We want to honor the teachers. We want to honor the restaurant workers. We want to honor the grocery store people, the truck drivers. And all of that is true. I have yet to hear people say, we also want to honor our chiropractors. And that's okay, because I don't take care of my people for the outside world's approval. I take care of people because I know without a shadow of a doubt, when I disrupt the disruption in their life of the vertebral subluxation, they live life at a higher level and we vibrate at a higher frequency. And that's where I find my peace with what I'm doing.
And we are front lines.
No doubt.
We are an integral part, an essential part of the solution. And you know what? We're not mentioned because we're not asking for it.
Right.
As chiros, we have every opportunity to massively market, to massively get our message out, and we all have to do it.
Yep.
We all have to be there together doing it. And now more than ever, when the whole world is just glued to their social media and glued to their TVs, now is the time, get engaged, Maverick. And I'm not talking about 24/7. I don't think anyone should be on social media for really social. I think that there should be a purpose. Mm-hmm. And when we're purposeful, we make a greater impact as well. So those of you who are watching right now, I'd love to know in the comment section, what will you do your Facebook Live on this week? What message do you know your community needs to hear, even if they've heard it before? I mean, the first law of learning is repetition. And even if you think, oh my gosh, there's another chiropractor in town, they're always doing Facebook Lives or they're always marketing. Great. You do it too. There's plenty. Right. There's plenty to go around. What do we have? A 2.38% penetration rate in the United States? Come on. We still have a lot of work to do. So as we close one out, Brian, what final words do you want to give to our audience today, specifically about sharing the chiropractic message?
People want to hear it, and people need to hear it. People believe it. It's funny, the public doesn't have problems with the chiropractic message. Chiropractors do. So if you don't feel strong in the chiropractic message, get strong, and that's okay. I would not want to jog a mile right now, quite frankly. But if I wanted to get there, then I need to start getting to work in order to do it. And if you look at, I believe wholeheartedly people are looking for another way. And the reason is we've done it the way everybody's supposed to tell us to do it, right? We're doing the preventative stuff. We're taking our medicines and all these things. And then this thing shows up and the world flat wasn't prepared for it, even though we spent all this money on stuff. And so there has to be another way, and you can market through that. No, we can't say that we cure. I don't cure the COVID-19. So don't say that, chiropractors. But what we do know is that chiropractic does help every function in the body. And that's why our analysis is super important. And we can tell people that. Now, are they going to look at us side-eyed? Yeah, and that's okay. Say it again and again and again and again until they get it. And so there's no doubt in my mind that in order for a better connected humanity, chiropractors are the first people that it has to happen, because in order for that human to process anything else in their life, physically, chemically, or emotionally, they have to have a nervous system free of the interference of the subluxation. And so I would argue the reason why I'm not out there screaming, why isn't anybody talking about the chiropractor, is because my nose is to the ground in order to get these people healthy because of what's coming their way. And again, I find my validation is in my patients, and it's in me, and it's in my friends in chiropractic. And so pick a message. 33 principles. There's 33 weeks of stuff that you can talk about. We've talked about whiteboard topics, so now make your virtual whiteboard, and it's super easy to do. All you share your screen and draw on it, or share your screen and just have something typed and record over it. Lots of ways that you can do it that are cheap and that are free, but the public is never, ever, ever going to get the message if we don't tell them. Yeah. And so as I said, those 100 videos or so that I've made, that's part of my effort in certain circles that I live to get the message out. I still have other messages still to get out, and some of it the same and some of it's refined. And so feel empowered because we are so damn important. There's just no other way to put it. And so to all those that have hung in, thank you so much. And we had to talk a few weeks ago, do I practice, do I not practice? And either way, you've made it to today, and thank you for the decision that you made, that you felt was best. But now it's time that we all got to go to work now and deliver the goods.
100%. And on that, we will say good evening to all of you. Thanks for joining us, Brian. Once again, thanks for a lively conversation. Y'all have a great week. We will not be seeing you next week. It's Memorial Day weekend. Please have fun with your families and get outside. Being outside is just so healthy. So God bless you all. Be safe. Well, you're having a great time. I don't mean be safe like this. I just mean if you're doing the crazy stuff that we're going to be doing this weekend, just, be safe. That's all. All right. Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.